Welcome to Real Fans TV. It's your boy Zane, and today I've got another special guest. I've got Neeks from Neeks Sports. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm all right. I'm good. Obviously, Man United in second place. Unnatural position for us recently. I don't know what to do sitting in second place, but hopefully we can
Change it tonight, right?
We can switch that around tonight. Hopefully, innit? Hopefully.
What, Fulham, man? Easy 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not easy. Fulham got a draw with? Who did they get a draw with? Spurs. They only lost to Chelsea with 10 men. They only drew with you lot as well.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much. I was like,
so yeah, this ain't gonna be. It's away as well. It ain't gonna be easy game. Our away form's good, but I'm not. Listen, you can't take any game in the Premier League lightly, innit? So
no, totally. So, what do you think, Treat? Anything else interesting going on in the sporting news today? Do you think? Have you heard anything?
I don't know. I mean, there's a guy over the blue side of London. Apparently, his job's on the line. But other than that, I mean, they're only a small club, so I don't really pay much attention to it. Leaks. Did you know where this come from? This come from Have Hope's channel. And because they call anytime you get something wrong, they call him LL, so as opposed to HH. And now they changed my name from Nick to Luke. Oh god. But yeah, listen, I mean, Lampard, innit? Lampard in. That's all I can really say. I want Lampard to stay forever and ever.
Do you know what? I was like that with David Moyes at Man United, bro. I was like, you know what? David Moyes, he's a wicked manager. Let him stay.
You know the funny thing is, like, I've never been a manager out kind of person, and David Moyes was the only one. I guess it was the first and the last in that respect, because obviously I was never Fergie out. Like, God forbid, I'd never be Ferguson out. But I came into work every day. My friend's a Liverpool fan, and as I came in, I'd be like, "Has David Moyes been sacked yet?" No, okay. That was it. And just every day I used to come in and ask the question, waiting for that day, because we could see from early doors. To be honest, when he got the job, I knew he wasn't the right man, and I could see from early doors. But I was never a ranter and raver about getting a manager out, so I didn't do it with LVG. However, at Wembley Way, when we beat Crystal Palace, and I was filming outside and interviewing the fans, I was there cheering because we heard that LVG was getting sacked and Jose was coming in. So I was celebrating, like, thanks for the FA Cup, LVG, but Jose. But I was never LVG out. And Jose Mourinho, like, everything that was going wrong, I was never Jose out. I understood that he had to go, but I wasn't hashtagging this, hashtagging that. So listen, Lampard can stay forever, innit?
Obviously, you got Gio here, who's came out. Zane here starting mess, wanting Lampard sacked, right? I think I'm voicing the opinion of many Chelsea fans who've been whispering it. It's getting louder and louder, hasn't it? Let's be honest, right? You know, you're on the terrace. You know, we go on there, and you can tell there's certain Chelsea men that are holding it in. Do you know what I mean? You can tell they want to come out of it. You can feel it in them. Do you know what I mean?
It depends who, because some of them are out and they've been out. Like obviously Anita's out, David is out. I think Monster is out now. I think he is. Like, he's not. I don't think he's as vociferous with it. I think but he's out now. Kai is out. Like, Kai has been.
Yeah. He's been strong. Yeah.
But you got people like Jem, Ches. I think Prime is Lampard out. I'm not sure, but he Prime asked questions instead of answering them. But but yeah, Jem and Ches are fair defending him for this, that, whatever. And it's your right to do what you want with you.
Yeah, it's your manager. You got to back your manager if you want to. Do you know what I mean? Your choice, isn't it? You're the fan, isn't it? So what I'll do, just this question is probably a good start about this topic, right? Because obviously, I don't know if people know this morning. Obviously, I came on the terrace and I gave my frank and full opinion. Like the
no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I think where I'm coming from, right? Because I did a video earlier a few weeks ago where I was doing a comparison between Gerrard and Lampard, because it's quite fascinating because they both retired around the same time, like a month apart, and they both became managers a month apart as well. So it's mad, isn't it? Like, they've always been, who's
they were like right next to each other.
Yeah, and they've all grown up and got good and all that. Yeah, so it's mad that the coincidence that they retired at the same time and they become managers, right? So I was quite interested. And the reason why I've got my opinion and why I hold it so strongly is the fact that if you look at the two managing careers now, the trajectories and what they've been doing, in my opinion, Gerrard's done it because there's never a right way, but the better way.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely the safer way.
No, right, and I'll back that up as well, right? Because when they were both in the academy after they retired, right, they all went to their own academies to do some coaching, get their badges, blah blah blah, whatever they need to do, right? Gerrard actually managed the under 23s. And the under 19s and the under 18s. So he did a full season managing, those teams, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, right, no matter what level you do management, it's still management, right? You still pick up skills and learn how to work about, what players work well, how to keep the guys motivated, looking at problems and solving it, right? So regardless if it's a proper professional club or you're a bunch of academy people, players, there's some things, regardless of what level it is, you'll pick up and learn, right?
Yeah.
Now, Lampard, let me know if you're surprised by this. He didn't actually manage any of those teams when he was there for a whole year. He was there for the whole year, and he did not manage one game.
So what was he doing? Coaching?
You asked me. Well, what? He was getting his badges, whatever. But you asked me. I'm asking you. What was he doing? I don't know, bruv. I don't know, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I'm coming with facts.
I guess we can see the evidence of the fact that he ain't been managing no one before, because the way he's moving at Chelsea is mad. It's mad.
Exactly right, and that's what I'm coming to you about, right? Because do you know what the joke thing is? The first time he ever managed a team was when he got the Derby job. Don't you think that's mad?
Well, I think the Derby job itself is still a decent sized job for what they wanted. Remember, they were pushing for promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like Wayne Rooney now, who Derby are struggling, that fighting relegation, and he's got the job. Obviously, as a player manager, then becomes the manager. He got the job to get Derby into the Premier League based on what? Yeah. Based on the name, based on the fact that he's Frank Lampard, that he's Harry Redknapp's nephew.
He is, yeah.
I think that's crazy, but it shows football's about what you know.
Exactly.
Not what you know.
No, totally right. And let's be honest, right? I say he's flopped. Some people say he's done a good job, but no, I'm sorry.
Wait, as you said, at Derby.
Yeah, I believe that as well, bro. But there's people out there saying, he done a good job. He came sixth or whatever, got to the playoff finals. But I'm sorry, you flopped, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because you were set up to go and promote them, innit?
They spent money. They were to go up to get promoted, and he failed to get them promoted. They wanted to get promoted automatically through the top two positions, and he failed to get them through via the playoffs. Now, of course, yes, it's fine margins when you get to a final, but it's either you do it or you don't do it. It's as simple as that in reality. And with the amount of money that they spent and all the connections that he had in terms of getting players on loan and that kind of stuff, you had to get up, and he didn't get up. But what people
remember, he had Mount, didn't he? Have Mount at Derby as well. Yeah.
What people's done, they've looked at how Derby struggled since he left.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're like, oh, look, they're fighting relegation now. He had them sixth, so he clearly did a good job. That's just not how it works.
Exactly. And thank you. I'm glad we agree on that, because from my point of view, when I say things, especially when I sit on my chest this morning, right, there's reasons behind it, because I've done actual research. Yeah, Zane's done some research, so a man's not chatting nonsense all the time. Do you get me? Right? A man can back some stuff up sometimes, right? So from my point of view, I thought we failed. I'm glad you agree with that, because I believe it was set up for him to do it. And guess what? He lost to Aston Villa in the final, right? And that game, it was 2-0 to Aston Villa. It wasn't like they went 1-0, it was 1-0, and then they got nicked to goal. It was 2-0. Yeah, and they basically Derby scored in the last 10 minutes, right? Do you get me, right? So therefore, he got outplayed in that final. It wasn't like, I was unlucky. Do you know what I mean? Right? No,
and that wasn't the last final he was going to get outplayed in, is it?
well, exactly right. So when I said this morning, my man's got his ego, right? Based on what we talked about, that literally he's had no magic experience. He got given the job because his connections, his name, and his family at Derby. and we both agree he failed that first season, considering the
Yeah.
money invested and all that kind of stuff, right? He then goes and gets the Chelsea job, right? Now, to me, when he first got that Chelsea job, that was a win-win. Transfer embargo, he can't get any players, and no matter what happens, he's got that excuse. I couldn't sign anyone. Blah, blah, blah.
All the Chelsea fans said, they said for them, it's what do they say? It's a free hit, basically. Like he's got to complete this season, do whatever you need to do. Of course, don't get relegated, but we don't have no expectations. Now, for me, people are like, "Oh, yeah, Chelsea's going to finish 10th, no chance." I said, no. Sorry, this is Chelsea Football Club. Finishing 10th ain't acceptable. Finishing 8th ain't acceptable. Chelsea are a Champions League squad. However, yes, I know they've lost Hazard. They can't. All they got is Pulisic. Because remember, Pulisic was signed in the January to come in that summer. They re-signed, what's it called, Kovacic, but they didn't keep Higuain. They decided to let him go. And they've got inexperienced manager, which is Chelsea's decision. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Chelsea to get top 4. I think I had them 5th. I had them 5th, and Man United 6th, or Man United 5th, Chelsea 6th. One of the two. I can't remember now. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting to get top 4, but I wasn't thinking 8th like some people were saying. I think that was just ridiculous. Like that's just Chelsea
they had a decent team. Yeah, exactly. Of course they did.
But my question is really, it's more like, okay, we talk about the trajectory of path that Lampard took and Gerrard took. If Gerrard was offered the Liverpool job in a similar situation,
he wouldn't take it. I'm telling you now.
Do you think he would not?
He would no way take that. Because what's going to happen to Frank? His status, legend status, that's got a dent. That's got battered now. Let's be honest. Yeah. Would you? I'm sorry. And that's why I keep going about his ego, right? Because let me call this out, right? Frank's, there's always this thing about footballers not being clever, right? He's got a degree, I think, in maths or something. He's got a degree, right? He writes books as well, right? So he's a good businessman. He's clearly not stupid, right? Would you say he's stupid if he's got a degree and all that? You got to have some level of intelligence to do all that, right? So when people say, "Oh, maybe he was a bit stupid or a bit naive," nah, bruv, don't come on that, man. You've got a university education. You know what? You know what's going on. So from my point of view, because of his Uncle Harry, all that kind of stuff, my man's thinking, it's in the family blood, bruv. I can just walk in and do it. And that's why I came with that energy, bruv. Because in what world, when, as we said, you've had no management experience, you've done 1 year at Derby where you failed, would you want to put yourself on the biggest stage?
But then I guess if they said to him, or it was said in the interview, well, you know what, this season's a free hit. We're not going to judge you on it. He basically gets 2 years of management before his first real season at Chelsea, which is this year, because the first season at Chelsea is a free hit. You can experiment. There's no expectation. But so maybe he's looked at it like, well, you know what? If I get the first year to practice, second year, when now there's expectation, I'll be in a better position. But again, because he's never managed before properly over a long period of time, he's a bit naive to think that he can then bring in 7-8 players in one season, one summer transfer window, and think that's going to equate success.
Well, he's got no management experience to bring them all together and play. That makes sense. Even Klopp, Pep, Jose, none of them would ever do that. Do you get me? None of them. And they've got years and years experience. They're world-class managers. If they won't do it, why? What makes you think you can do it? I keep coming back to his ego then. What else can it be then, bro?
Because I wonder, is it a Lampard thing or is it a Chelsea thing? And the reason why I say that, look at Andre Villas-Boas. I need to double check. I remember when he was at Spurs, when they sold Gareth Bale and they bought in a ton of players to replace him, and that was very was it naive? I don't know if it was naive of him, but it just didn't work in it. It didn't work. Yeah. But before that, he was at Chelsea. Now I can't remember the players that he actually bought at Chelsea, but they wanted to move into a new direction of attacking football. They wanted to phase out, and he dropped a lot of their bigger players, and it just didn't work out. And again, I think it was to do with their inexperience. But the question is there pressure from people above Lampard, who's they're the ones really in control of transfers, in the sense of, well, Chelsea need to buy these 7 players. Do you have any issue with this, Lampard? And he's just like, oh, yeah, give them to me. Because maybe he's not strong enough to say, no, sorry, they're not going to fit my style of play. Whereas a Jose might say, no, I don't want that.
No, bruv.
A Klopp might say, no, I don't want that. He's just like, give me everything you got. I don't care.
Nah, yeah, I just thought it was food for Ultimate Team, brother. And thought, yeah. I get all these sick players in. And he thought, yeah, I can make it work. I'm Frank Lampard. I've played at their highest and I can just get these people to do what they need to do because the quality is not that easy. He's getting found out, right? And I think, funnily, from my point of view on this is, right, again, if we go with a Gerrard comparison, right, Frank Lampard is learning the job in the hardest league in the world. It's not like a Spain, Germany, whatever, where there's a monopoly or there's a couple of teams and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Mm. The Premier League is the most competitive European league, I would say, right? And probably the hardest to do because it's so hard, even against the bottom teams, as Liverpool are finding out, you get me, right? To pick up points. It's not a walkover, is it? Yeah, you know. Yeah. So from my point of view, with your intelligence, you've got a degree. Why do you think you would actually be able to make a success of it in the hardest league in the world? Mm. Where does that come from?
Listen, I guess, I mean, as a player and to be fair, as a manager, you have to have a level of arrogance. I agree. But yes, I think you need to realize your manager career is going to be or should be much longer than your playing career. Yeah, playing career, you might get 15 years, 15 strong years. Your manager career, you could be going 40 years, let's say.
Yeah, decent. Yeah,
you need to really build to that moment, I think. And I think the way that you mentioned that Gerrard's done it, and he said, you know what, let me go to Rangers. And let's be honest. Rangers ain't an easy job. It's easier. You're less out of the limelight. You're not. The expectation is still high because you're Rangers, but it's not as high because they're Celtic and they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
Chelsea, if Lampard, for example, went to Spurs or Everton, for example, again, it's still hard because it's the Premier League and you're the most competitive league. But there's less pressure and expectation, and also there's less history in terms of sacking managers when things don't work out. At Chelsea, you know that when things don't work out, you are going to get sacked.
And the owner's got a track record, bruv.
Exactly, the track record is history of that. Obviously, Lampard is willing to risk that. Or, as I say, they've had conversations where they just say, you know what, we're going to give you, X amount of time to get your things in order. Now, of course, with all this pressure, because no one's privy to that discussion. Only Lampard and Marina Gravisky, I can't remember her surname now, and maybe Abramovich over a telephone conversation, they've kind of said, all right, we'll give you assurances. But if they haven't given him those assurances, I think, to take that job as your second job, your second year of management, that is naive and risky and arrogant. You're right.
No, because that's what I'm trying to say. Because he's educated. He's an educated person, right? And I think, and that's why I just want to make that point across, because people may think, he's naive, he's not done that, but he's got his dad, he's got his uncle, he's got a degree, he runs a successful book, he does loads of children's books, he's got a good business he's doing. Do you mean he's a smart guy? He's clever, he's a good businessman, right? Now, if I throw it to you, right, would you take on the Chelsea job when you've had literally 1 year's experience? Would you? No. I'll answer the question well. Would you? Hindsight's great, you've seen that, but would you, in good faith, think, you know what, I'd love to, but now I'll wait a couple of years, I'll wait 5 years and then come back to it?
You know what? Okay, let me think about in my field of work. I'm an accountant. So if I just finished uni, I had 1 year, let's say 1 year work experience as an accountant. Let's say like a graduate scheme. And then
FCO, FCO or something.
Yeah, they came, listen, I want you to be the finance director. I want you to be the finance director of PricewaterhouseCoopers. Would I take the job? Now, in my position, it's a different, because you're looking at the salary, and I'm thinking, if I could get that salary, even if I get sacked after X amount of time, that's a lot of money, and I can just wipe that off my CV. No one has to know that I was there and flop and keep it moving. Yeah. But in football management, there's no hiding place.
Exactly. You get me. Chelsea as well. Chelsea, exactly. Man. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm going to be honest. I think because you're a Chelsea legend, if you're good enough as a manager elsewhere, that job will always come back around.
Exactly.
Like
That's what
Gerrard doesn't have to. He can stay away from the Liverpool job for 10 years. If he's good enough elsewhere, the job will be available at some point. There'll be enough clamour for him, whether it's from fans, media, or just people inside the club for that job. Whereas me, Price Waterhouse Coopers, they may never offer me that job, no matter how good I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So in Lampard's position, for his connections that he has, for his notoriety in the game, he did not need to take that job so quick. Now, the problem he's going to have now, when he does get sacked, because he will be sacked.
He will get sacked, yeah.
It might not be tomorrow. It might be at the end of the season. He will be sacked. His problem is 2 years into management, 3 years into management, there's a possibility
he's failed.
He's failed, but there's a possibility for him that 3 years into his management, he will never ever manage Chelsea again. No, manage Chelsea again. He'll get another
yeah.
But never manage Chelsea again. And for a Chelsea legend, that will hurt him. Because he's like, I had my chance and I blew it. I missed it. If only I had waited. So he may manage for the next 30 years. But that Chelsea job came and went and it wasn't successful. He didn't need to take it now. There was no rush. No,
exactly. And that's why I put that down to ego, because again, he thought he could just walk it, smash it at the park, no problem. But clearly that didn't happen, right? Then so
if you were Abramovich right now, would you sack him right now?
You have to.
Why? Why do you have to? You say you have to. Why do you have to?
Because at the moment, there's a German manager. When you've got some quality, you got really hard, multi-million pound assets who are German, so it's a no-brainer for me. The stars have aligned. Why would you not sack him now? What you wait and then you miss him, and then what you're going to do? Wait around again for some other managers to come along. There's not that many good managers available, so now you've got an opportunity. Poch is gone, so why would you not get Tuchel? It's a no-brainer from my perspective.
I'm gonna be honest. I always like to judge a manager at the end of the season. Always. Now, as I said, if you're in the relegation zone, you're fighting down there, then there comes a point where you have to pull the plug, because falling out of the Premier League and not qualifying for Champions League is two different evils. Like, you can get away with not qualifying for Champions League for 1 year. Falling out of the Premier League can be catastrophic. So that's another. But in Chelsea's position, I as the way I'm set up, I like to judge a man at the end of the season. And twice now, obviously this season's not finished, we're halfway through, but twice, my position, if I was a CEO or owner and had that control, has been vindicated in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, I know it's not exactly the same when you're looking at Solskjaer's management, his history versus Lampard.
But it's got experience, bro.
No, I know it's not exactly the same, but his, a lot of people talk about this. They talk about it now because he's doing well. But when he was doing bad, people were like, what's he done? He's been relegated with Cardiff and he's only managed in Norway. Now he's done good, or he's doing good. It's like, see, all those 10 years of experience in Norway. So if people just flip it how they want. But as a director, owner, you have to look at those things. You can't be a fan in that respect. But what has happened in those 2 years? Last season, he the first year he came, started off brilliantly. You get ahead of yourself, it goes bad. We finished sixth that year. I mean, he picked us up in sixth, we finished sixth. Start of last season, we were terrible for the first half of the season. Brought in Bruno Fernandes. So we gave him time. People were calling for him to lose his job after we lost to Liverpool and Burnley back-to-back, end of January. Got Bruno Fernandes in, finishing in fourth. If you had sacked him at that point, we don't know. We could have got a better manager, and that manager may have got a fourth anyway. We don't know. But it may not have been. Start of this season, we lose 3-1 to Crystal Palace. We lose 6-1 to Spurs, both at Old Trafford, get knocked out of the Champions League, lose to Arsenal, and we're sitting in a very precarious position in the league, and they stick by him, and now we're, effectively top of the league when all games have been played. That is evidence that you should need to give a manager time, give a manager to the end of the season. And even in those dark times of Solskjaer, I was always saying, you know what? If they sack him now, he's got no complaints. That's the nature of the beast. The football that we're in is very high on fire. However, I would like to judge him at the end of the season, because if you sack him in between, you will never know how it could end. If Lampard gets sacked now and Tuchel comes in and say they just miss out on Champions League, maybe Tuchel will be better and maybe they will go on to win XYZ. But if Lampard has stayed, we don't know. We will never know. Would he be able to turn it around this season? And the thing is, football is not finishing at the end of the season. So what's the rush? You say Tuchel will go somewhere. Tuchel's not going anywhere for now. He's not.
Do you know what? Let me tell you, Spats, right? Have you not seen the way Chelsea play? You can't even say there's a system there. He's playing people out of position. He keeps keep using Mount when clearly it's not working. If you play a player for 10 games and he has no real effect in the game, surely you want to change it up, mix it up. At least with Ollie, Ollie's got a system. He knows what his midfield is. He's trusted midfield. He knows how he plays. Can you say any of that? Can you say Frank has any of that? I don't think he can. Can you?
I agree that we have a system, but you
has Frank got a system?
Well, once again, but you speak to a lot of Ollie outers. Even now, they will question whether he got a system, and when things were bad, they were adamant that he didn't. But as I said, if you're an owner, you're on the board, you're a technical director, whatever you are, you have to look beyond the fanfare. You have to really analyze. Yeah, and I would say, from my point of view, he does have a system. Don't get me wrong, he does have a system, but it's trash. It's not working, and he's unwilling to change it. That's the problem. It's not that his system is.
So what is that ego? Why is he not changing it? Is that his ego then, or something? Why is he not changing it?
It's either the ego or it's his limitations in management. He hasn't got something to change it to. This is all he knows because he's only been managing for 2 years.
This is a deadly combination. Ego and stubborn.
I think that's what I think is more. Not more, but I think it's more to do with his limitation, because even as an egotist, you would switch it up from time to time because your job.
That's pride, brother. You're talking about pride there.
For your job. He hasn't got anything. It's not like it's Jose who's like, well, this has worked for me in the past, so I'll do it till the cows come home. It's never worked for you. So how can ego make you keep it? I just think because of his limitations as a manager, he's got nothing to change it to. He might be able to change the formation because he's played three at the back a few times, but the system remains the same. The way that they develop attacks remains the same. Everything, go out wide, cross the ball, go out wide. And I'll tell you why I believe that it's more of a limitation in his management, in his coaching, rather than arrogance. Because he will change a player. He will put in a Tammy or a Werner or a Giroud in that number 9 position, who are 3 different types of strikers, yet the style of play remains exactly the same. But that don't make sense, because how can you feed Giroud in exactly the same way you're going to feed Werner?
Yeah.
But that's the only way you know how to feed. That's it. That's
yeah, but then you could ask us a bit of stupidity, keep doing the same thing, expecting to change. But we know, as I said, man's got a degree. He's not stupid, is he? He's clearly intelligent.
Okay, you ever gone into an exam and you're like, I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm just going to write anything. The other option is to leave it blank and know that it's wrong. He doesn't have any other information, so he just writes it whatever he knows. Let me just do what I know, and hope that it works, because I don't know what else to do. That's
no, that sounds like a stupid man to me. An intelligent man would make a reason why he can't attend the exam for whatever reason, or they would prep up. Them are facts, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm calling it out, man, because
this is the point. But he's learning on the job. It's like you go to you're in the library 5 minutes before the exam, trying to cram it all in. He's literally learning on the job. And at Chelsea, learning on the job is a recipe for disaster.
Well, it is, right. So, all right. So if he does get sacked, who would you go for?
I think obviously Tuchel's available right now. I wouldn't go for Allegri, because I think
he doesn't suit the players, does he?
No, he doesn't. Allegri would have suited the players prior to
Sarri. Yeah.
Prior to Sarri, Allegri would have suited, because that was all the kind of the style of managers they were going for. Direct, counter-attacking, fast transitions, strong, quick players, that kind of stuff. Sarri ball, completely different. I mean, Lampard ball, I can't even call it that bloody the profile of player they got wouldn't suit an Allegri system. However, if Allegri came in, he will still do a better job than Lampard's doing with his player, with this proper player, even if it doesn't suit his particular style. Because
Yeah,
I do believe it's like Solskjaer. He talks about a style of play that he wants to play, which we're seeing now more than ever before.
Yeah.
But before now, what he was doing was, well, I want to play this way, but the players I've got aren't good enough to play this way, so I'm gonna have to play it that way. So Allegri might have his style, but if he comes in and the players can't do exactly what he wants, I think he's experienced enough to tweak it a bit. He's not gonna go full, tiki-taka. It's never gonna happen. But to tweak it a bit, to say, you know what, I can't do what I did at AC Milan and Juve because I ain't got a player. But Lampard just doesn't have that experience and that know-how to do that. I think Tuchel is probably best suited in terms of managers available right now, if they don't want to break a contract. I heard some people saying Tuchel in as interim and then get Nagelsmann or something in the summer. Tuchel ain't coming in as an interim.
Exactly, that makes no sense.
Is a well, renowned manager. I'm not saying he's the most successful, the greatest, but he's done enough. He's been enough places to not come in as a 6-month interim. Showing some damn respect, man. Come on. So man was at Champions League final a few months ago.
No, exactly. But do you know what that shows me, right? That if they don't sack him, that means that even themselves, they want someone better on the board. Let's be honest, right? Because like you said, right, they may give you more time, which is a bit random. Like, why would you? Because you're jeopardizing possible Champions League and all that kind of stuff, right? So the only logical reason I can come to is that in their mind, they've identified who they think is the best manager. And that potentially means, like you want him to see out the season, as long as he keeps it ticking along. Do you know what I mean? And then go and get that guy, in the summer. Do you get me? And then he's got the whole pre-season, work with the squad, work out what he wants, what he doesn't, get rid of the deadwood, bring in some new players if he needs it, and then we move. Do you get me? And I think, and that would be quite fascinating if he doesn't get sacked in the next couple of games. Then you can see that that's what they're looking to do.
The thing is, not on the list. I think as much as I say, given to the end of the season, it's all about what are they willing to sacrifice by keeping him, and I mean that by if you're seeing that there's a risk that you don't get Champions League football, is that risk? Are you willing to forgo Champions League football to give him to the end of the season? If he loses the next 3 games. And you're just dropping further and further, you end up 11th, behind Arsenal, relegation threatened Arsenal. Where Champions League, you're 10 points off Champions League. Do you say, you know what, we were going to give it to the end of the season. Our manager's not available anyway, but we'll sack him now, put John Terry in charge for the rest of the season.
See, at least John Terry's thinking the right way. He's the number 2 at Aston Villa, and he's learning his trade, bruv. I guarantee you now, I'll say it now on record, John Terry will be a better manager than Frank Lampard. Because he's again doing the right thing. Look at Wayne Rooney; he's not going from Derby for a couple of years. So
I think he'll stay. As long as he don't get sacked, I think he'll stay at Derby for a little while. I think he will.
No, exactly. And that's fundamentally what I'm coming back down to is the fact that if he, let's be honest, right? Champions League place is not a guarantee this season. Leicester are doing well, and Diddy's back. So there's a reason why they're doing well. Indeed, is back.
Pereira's back now as well.
Yeah, right. Tottenham, Jose will still be competitive to the end, regardless of what happens. So he's going to be a threat. You've got Liverpool, Man City, Man United are up there again, right? So realistically, there's 5 teams you could say arguably are better, stronger teams than Chelsea. So realistically, is he going to get top 4? I don't think he can. No matter, even if he starts turning it around, I just think they'll have to go on a
mad run. They'll have to go like 10 game winning streak.
Can you see that in the guard? I can't see that.
No way.
Exactly. So from my point of view, I just think it comes down to they don't rate any of the managers that are available if they keep him any longer.
Yeah.
And they wait till the summer and then it's done, or actually they do rate Tuchel or whatever, and if you know what, I've done this, we'll get that right. Now, final thing I wanted to talk about. Do you think it was right he got the job in the first place? Because I have an issue with the fact that why couldn't they get someone else who's done the time, done the 10 years, 15 years in lower leagues around the world, in the UK, whatever. Why didn't they, I know it's the owners got a thing about, brand name, all that kind of stuff, but we have to ask the question.
Well, I would argue was there any managers who were willing to take the job with Chelsea in that situation, not able to sign? Because, as I said, Chelsea are so high a fire. Every manager in the world, experienced or not, will know that. Everyone in football knows that. So, is a manager willing to go into the Dragon's Den unarmed, knowing that if you fail, you're going to get sacked? That's the thing. So that's the first. So if the options were limited anyway, then going for Lampard may have been one of only a couple of realistic choices. There may have been a Brendan Rodgers maybe, but Chelsea are like, nah. You know what? Brendan Rodgers is good. He's not elite, so we might as well just go for Lampard and see how it works out. Someone called it, I think it was eye test on the Football Terrace this morning. He called it a long-term interim. So it was like, all right, we'll get Lampard now just to get us through this little transfer embargo period. The fans ain't gonna uproar about anything because it's Lampard. We can maybe get through this season. Let's see we finish. And they finished top 4. And they're like, and then we're gonna go get our players. And if it don't work out, he's gonna go. Like they did to Di Matteo. Di Matteo came in just for the interim to see them out for the season, but then he won the Champions League. And if you remember, he walks up the steps to collect the Champions League medal, and he says to Abramovich, like, the wording was more something along the lines like, "You have to give it to me now. Like, you have to give me the job now." Basically, Abramovich didn't want him. Abramovich wanted Pep. Abramovich wanted Pep, but Pep was just finishing at Bayern Munich. He just finished at Barcelona.
Yeah, he went on a sabbatical.
And he was going to go on a sabbatical. But he wanted Pep. But Di Matteo was like, well, you have to give it. I won the FA Cup, won the Champions League. You have to give it to me now. And obviously there's pressure, so he gave it to him. But at the first opportunity to sack Di Matteo, just like that. And he was on the phone to Pep immediately. And Pep was like, nah, I'm still under my sabbatical. Yeah. We were on the phone to Pep as well. But everyone was like, I'm going Bayern. Flip's sake, man. And we're gonna go buddy David Moyes instead. So Lampard, and it makes sense. Lampard was, or is, should I say, a long-term interim. He overachieved last season.
You agree with eye test? This is a new one.
I do. He was a long-term interim, and they got him because there wasn't many options out there, and he was just there to ride the wave and see what they can do until they get someone proper.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think he's going soon. So I was going to ask you then. So final question, just to wrap up then. You think he's going to go soon then, do you? You think you'll see out the season or not? Will he see out? No, I don't think he'll see out the season. I think if he doesn't get sacked, I'm gonna give the 2 legs of the Champions League. I think he'll get sacked after the second leg, or if they get battered in the first leg. Because I think the form in the Premier League between then and now, or now and then, might be a bit patchy. Might win a few, draw a few, lose a few. So they might not pull the plug. But I think losing to Atletico, respect Atletico, a very good side. So there's no shame in losing. But when you're Chelsea, you have to win. So losing to Atletico even in those 2 legs, I think they might say, listen, we're out of the Champions League. Maybe we're out of the FA Cup. We're sitting in 8th in the league. What is this seat? Like, get in. And they might say, all right, Tuchel, come now. You get the end of the season to assess the players, and then we go into next season. But I think they're gonna hold out a little bit longer because he's a legend. And let's get it right. There's a lot of Chelsea fans. We might just think, oh, it's just some big accounts here. There are a lot of Chelsea fans who probably aren't on Twitter. You go down to Chelsea, a lot of their fan base is very old. No, I say very old, they're older. So they might not be active on social media like a lot of us are. They are, like, Lampard is their legend.
Yeah, I heard that.
So sacking him is not going to rest easy. When they sacked Jose, it didn't rest easy. They held off for ages and ages, and they weren't happy when he was sacked, but they realized he had to go. He was a legend. Lampard's a bigger legend than Jose. So I think I think they're going to hold out for as long as possible. I think the Champions League may be the tipping point.
All right, so here's my answer. I'm not going to say as long as you. Man's done. Get him out of it. It's time to go. It's time. He's done, bro. Allow it, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing I can see from my side that he can turn it around. He hasn't got the skills or the qualifications, hasn't got the experience or the capabilities, which we've seen this season, to turn that stuff around. He's lost the dressing room. Remember, he's lost the players. Yeah. So you're done, bruv. Off. Thank you very much.
Well, it's not as bad in terms of losing the dressing room. It's not as bad as it was under Jose. I'll say that.
Yeah,
but it's not good enough.
Oh, hold on. Oh, Gio, sorry. Gio's got a question for you. Hold on. Let me. Which one was it? This one, I think. There we go. This one. This is what Gio wanted to ask. So big up, Gio. Come
on. What do you say? I've got Zlatan in the background. Yeah, this one. Yeah. He's doing bits at AC Milan right now. Bloody hell. How do you know how much money United want for Dallo? Oh, do I know? I think they want 20 million. I think it's 20 million. No. 20 million was Pereira. We signed him for 20 million. I can't see us selling him for less because he's not old. He's got a lot of his career ahead of him. He's doing well at AC Milan at the moment. If he wins Serie A, his price is going to go. Ed Woodward, Glazer-Nomics are going to put a few more millions on top of that. So I would say for his age, 25 to 30 million. Attacking fullback in this climate, 25 to 30 million. A lot of Man United fans want him back at Man United. I don't know if he's good enough defensively. I don't watch AC Milan, but in the Premier League in England, I don't know if he's good enough defensively for what Solskjaer wants. And if we get an attacking right winger, we need our right back to be solid defensively. 25 to 30 million.
Good answer, man. And Gio, man, you're feeding all these Premier League players to go to AC Milan, isn't it? There's another one on there.
That's what Conte did. Conte bought half the Premier League to go into his Inter side to try to win it. You got Alexis, Lukaku, Ashley Young, Darmian, Christian Eriksen, Victor Moses. Yeah. Like he just rinsed it, man.
No, exactly. Hold on. Tomori, that's it. Tomori, he wants to.
Tomori, innit?
Yeah. Do you mean
20 million? We are going to send him back. I think our main objective is to sign Tomori. Yeah, because Tomori's on loan with a 30 million option to buy, but he's a centre back. So I mean, maybe you're strapped for cash and you can't buy both. I don't know, but listen, most Man United fans won't be mad if he came back. I just don't see a future with him under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's a good player, though.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. So, Neeks, where can people find you? Because it's been a great chat and good discussion about Lampard. So, where can people find you?
Yeah, Neeks Sports, as you can see on my app there. Neeks Sports everywhere. On Insta, it's Neeks Sports Insta. So, yeah, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, Snapchat. I don't really use that anymore, to be honest.
And what shows on YouTube you're on as well, bruv? You're on quite a few.
Obviously the Football Terrace. On that a lot after Man United games. So tonight, I guess, hopefully after we beat Fulham, I'll be there. And the Football Dugout, check that out as well. So Mondays and Thursdays on the Football Dugout, and you might see me pop in to some of the other shows we got on that channel. But Mondays and Thursdays on the Football Dugout.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the discussion debate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and do you think it's time to sack Lampard? Apart from that, guys, I'll catch you guys